And I know many of us will have just started brainstorming on what we will be expecting, how to go about it. And naturally, I really want as much people to benefit from this, because speaking with Miss Fadare, she and checking her page, I discovered there was mentorship for scholarship applications. So as many of us that are here, and many that will still check the videos recordings, I want us to know that there are opportunities. It was last year I got to know about this. So it was last year I got to know about opportunities abounding. And recently I discovered that there were millions available for such scholarship that many of us were not claiming. So thanks to God for this opportunity. And please, let our heart be opened, let our mind be held, and avoid distraction as much as possible. You can't trade this for anything. Seriously, we have a lot of opportunities awaiting us, and I know by God's grace, this will be a great time. So thanks for joining. Thanks, Miss Father. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks everyone. Being here is a great, great, great thing. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ma.
Okay, perfect. So thank you so much. And you can call me Pelumi. No need for Miss Fadari. So I'm really looking forward to today, and I hope that it's going to be very useful to you. So as you know, the topic that I've been chosen is writing a winning scholarship application. And that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So I hope you can all see my screen very well. Is that correct? Yes, perfect. So if you can see my screen, that's great. And basically, so a bit about me. As I said, my name is Pelumi Fadare. I always define myself as a global citizen because I was born in Nigeria, but I grew up in Barcelona in Spain. And I've been lucky enough to study, my passion, which is languages. That's why I did a degree in translation. And then I did another degree in business management. And now I'm finally starting my master's in the USA in Georgetown University in a program called Global Human Development, which of course I've been able to do with the help of different scholarships abroad. And that's why, I want to share my journey with you today so that you can also see that it's possible and that once you believe, in what you want, you can always achieve your goals. So my mission, as I like to say it, is to help young people in youth empowerment and youth development. And for that purpose, I do different work, and most especially I do my YouTube channel, which is named NinjaInspiration, where, I talk about my scholarship journey and how I got scholarship, and I give tips about everything related to study abroad and scholarship abroad. I have been a recipient of about 10 plus scholarship and funding. These are grants to study abroad. And today, I humbly just want to share my journey with you guys and how, all this started happening. So you might think that, wow, this person has so many opportunities, how can I get the same thing? But it starts with a simple story, which is basically when, I was very young, I was 16. And, I saw different people traveling around, and I thought, I also want to travel. I also want to live abroad, have these experiences, but I didn't really know what to do or how to do it. And that was like, back in 2014, I discovered an essay. It was like an application. And back then I was learning languages and I loved it so much. And I decided to apply without, having any idea what I was doing. I just, wrote the essay to share my experiences, and I eventually won the essay. So that's why I call that moment the awakening, which is when I realized that, wow, all these opportunities actually exist. So with that opportunity, when I won the essay, along with the other 60 winners, the prize was to go to the US, and I was able to speak at the UN, as you can see in the photo at the United Nations. And then I had this curiosity to see where all these opportunities were coming from. How can someone, fund someone to study abroad or to travel abroad, and they would fully fund it, give you the opportunity without having to pay anything in return. So that was when my discovery started, right? I started to search more opportunities, grants online. I will, of course, be teaching you how to do that in this presentation today, but I wanted to just share my journey so you can see that, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, but it was more about my curiosity and my desire to learn and my desire to, exceed, that I just, wanted to discover more. So that's why the mentality is quite important. And from then on, I've been, applying to scholarship. I've had a lot of failures, but in those failures also, I've been able to learn a lot of, things that have helped me in my journey towards success. So the next point I would be explaining today is, of course, as I said, I make these videos on YouTube, and as you can see, I'll be making some references to these videos. because most of the things I'll be explaining, you can learn more about them on the YouTube videos. We're actually like making depth contents about, but of course today I'll be sharing many tips that will be very useful to you. But this is how the YouTube looks like, more or less. The next point would be, I want to make this webinar in a way that it's easy to follow and you can really learn from it. So I will be giving you some pre-application tips, and then I will move into the application itself. And then I'll be giving you some post-application tips, like, how you should go through your application journey. I hope you guys are following me very well. You can hear me and everything is making sense. Just write in the comments.
Yes.
You follow me well.
Yes.
You're following, yeah.
Perfect.
Following.
Perfect. Thank you. So what I really want to, encourage you, first of all, even before going to the application tips itself, it's the mindset. So I know that maybe some of you have applied to scholarship before. Maybe some of you are trying to do it for the first time. But all in all, you have to have a specific mindset, which is a mindset of like, I want this and I will achieve this, even though it's going to be difficult or it might seem impossible at first. It's not impossible. So for this reason, you have to find a specific goal, which is, your why, basically. Why do you want this funding? And once you have that specific goal in mind, the funding will come with it. And also start small. Many times people are like, oh, you have this scholarship because you've had all these opportunities before. How can I start if I haven't even had exposure abroad and I haven't had any opportunity before? But it's not impossible. You can start small with volunteer work and eventually you get there. And as I said before, failure is definitely part of the journey. And it's a thing you should embrace. And I've had many moments where I've applied to things. I spent so many hours and days and energy, and I failed and I cried. It hurts. But at the end of the day, failure is part of the journey and you become stronger actually after that. And also just keep applying. Like, there is no limit to what you can apply to. So just keep applying and eventually 1, 2, 3, or 4 will work out for you. And that's the idea. Never give up. So having this in mind that we're going into this, as I can call it, battlefield of scholarship, we can now go into what you should be thinking of in your application. So this is based on my experience, on things that I've learned in my journey and things that I've also seen from other people. And these are the tips I would like to give to you about, like, how to start your application. Many times we want a scholarship and that's the only thing we focus on. I want a scholarship, but we don't think about the bigger picture, or like why we want it and what we're actually trying to achieve or what we're trying to get in the process. But just, I want someone to fund me my study abroad because life is so difficult and I want, the funding. So my number one tip or the question would be, what is this that I want to study? You have to be precise about that. There's so many field of studies out there. You should pick one that you're very passionate about. And then the most important one is, how can I tell my story? So I feel like storytelling is a very important part of writing your application, and that is going to guarantee your success. And for example, in my case, I'll give you my example. I consider myself the language girl, a global citizen with a mission to bridge or to connect people together, right? So whenever I make an application or whenever I write an application letter or my motivation letter, I always have this mantra in mind, this idea in mind, and then I develop my following ideas based on this idea. So for example, if I ask you, all of you now, you can start writing on the chat your answer. But if I asked you guys, write your one-line story, which you want to use for your storytelling. So the same way I've identified myself as I am the language girl, a global citizen, I want to bridge and connect with people from around the world, which can lead to the work I want to do. So what would be your one-line story? Can you guys start writing that maybe on the chat, Just to let me see, your ideas, like what would be your one-line story? You are XYZ and you want to do XYZ. And that line, that sentence would be like the key for you to develop, your storyline in your motivation letter. You can start writing that if you guys feel like it. And then the other points I think is very important that people miss when they're starting their application or writing their application is to think about their audience. So when I mean your audience, I mean, who are you writing this motivation letter to? Many times, we just think that, okay, I want to apply to scholarship, but you don't really know who is going to be reading the letter. That's very important to know who they are and what type of, what type of story they want or how they want you to tell the story. So in this case, your audience can be 3 key organizations. It could be the university itself that you're applying to. So in my case, my story is that, I applied to this development program in the US. And I applied to Georgetown University and other universities, but the one I'm choosing is Georgetown University. And that was my target, right? My audience in that moment when I was applying to that university. So reading about the school, as you know, getting to know their mission, what is their value, what are the things that what are the things, very good. I'm seeing some comments are coming in. Let me read one of them. I'm value oriented and I want to create value to impact lives on global scale. And then someone said education for all. Okay, I can, maybe later we will discuss this because I have a point about these things that you guys are writing. So keep on writing them and then I'll make an inference to them later. Okay, so as I was saying, know your audience. So when I was applying to Georgetown University, I had to know about the school value, the mission, and then, what exactly that school would give to me that any other school could not give to me in terms of their, not only their credential, but maybe the professors, the faculty, the specific type of learning that I would get only in that university. And now how I, as a person, I'm envisioning to, also bring value to them. How do I envision to be part of that cohort and bring value to them and not just, learn from them, but also be of use to them in that cohort and in that school, right? Based on my previous experience or based on what I want to do exactly. And then another audience could be if you're applying for the scholarship at the government. For example, in my case, I've been granted a Fulbright scholarship, which maybe you guys don't know, but I just give you a background. My Fulbright is, it's a government scholarship, bilateral scholarship between the US, and in this case, I applied as a Spanish citizen. So it would be between the US and Spain. So in this case, the Fulbright has a mission. It's I'm going to mute somebody that's talking. Okay. So in this case, you have to understand what is the mission of Fulbright. It is to connect young people from different countries around the world with the US, be it with cultural exchanges, education exchanges, or to just bring the best students from countries so that they can come learn in the US and then go back to their country and develop their country better. So when you're writing your letter for this type of organization, you have to know that, okay, these are the points I have to mention in my essay so that I can align what I'm saying, my purpose, with the work of the sponsor, who's going to sponsor me. Also, your audience could be the private funding, for example, foundations. There are many foundations out there. You can even think of like any company out there, Coca-Cola, Microsoft, the big ones, even the smaller ones, that they have foundations that will sponsor students to study abroad. Some of them are more focused on like maybe, African students. Some of them are focused on like anybody international. Some of them are more focused on like a specific field, either engineering, the STEAM or education. It could be anything, but there are foundations out there that actually fund you. And then you have to do the same thing. What is the value of this foundation? If it's a foundation that focuses on like STEAM, right, for women, you would have to see that, okay, me as a woman, how can I contribute to the STEAM, how can I, and you guys know what the STEAM is, right? The science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, for example. If the foundation cares a lot about education, how is my work aligned with that? And how can I, show them that whatever I'm doing is aligned with what they're doing, and I'll be able to also bring value to them as a foundation. And at the end of the day, it's always like a take and give with scholarship and applications. When you're writing your essay, it's not about like only what you want. I want to get a funding, I want this, but it's about what you are going to give to them and how you can also bring value to them once you're even done with your program. So they know that this person, if we fund this person is going to be a future leader, a future whatever that will also bring value to our foundation and will make us more recognizable in the society. And then, you guys might be wondering, okay, this is fantastic. Okay, I know what to write now, how to approach my sponsor, how to align the purpose. And you're thinking, where do I find this funding, right? So in terms of where are the scholarships, where are the grants, where can I find them? The first thing that I would like you to also do and understand is like Google is your best friend, honestly. So on Google search, there are ways you can find scholarship like with keywords. So keywords like fully funded program in education policy, if that's what you're interested in. Or you can write grants in the UK, if you're interested in studying in the UK, for development studies. Or you write, you insert the specific name of your program and the university, and then write the word fully funded beside it, and you will be surprised by the list of things you're going to find. If you guys, can take, even some minutes to do that search, maybe later after we're done with the session, you're going to be surprised at how many findings you will find. And you're like, oh, I didn't know this scholarship existed. And from that, you'll be directed to more and more pages where you'll be learning about all this amazing funding. So the keywords are very important. For example, I made here, you write fully funding award for master's in MBA or multidisciplinary fully funding award for master's degree, and you insert the name of the degree you want. Another one, which I actually have a specific video about, actually, it's this video here. website to fund your studies. I wrote about different websites, for example, Pro Fellows, Youth Opportunities for Africans, and many others, where you can actually find specific call-ins for applications to apply for scholarship. So it's about, you just being vigilant. You can subscribe to their newsletter. You can, put your notification button on so that whenever they post a new thing, you're always aware of these new opportunities and you can just, immediately apply to them, right? So there are opportunities out there. Don't be afraid. There are many things out there that you can apply to, just about like, using these keywords and following, all this website. For example, Profellows is known to like be a database with more than 10,000 fundings and scholarship out there, more tailored to the US. So if you're someone who wants to study in the US, this website will be fantastic for you. Youth Opportunity has everything: webinars, seminars, to study abroad, scholarships. So you can find a diverse range of opportunities on this website here. Are you guys following me well? Is it making sense? You can just write your answer on the chat. And it seems that some people want to be allowed. Maybe Elizabeth can let them in. Good, cool. The next one. So this is a very specific one that I'm going to explain to you now, like giving you concrete examples. So what I'm trying to do today, I don't want it to sound too abstract. I want to sound very specific in what I'm saying, so you can get what I'm hinting on. So for example, when people write their essays, right, they always say, I'm so passionate about education, right? So it's good. You're showing your passion and you want to show your why. But what they forget to do, oh, it says that the meeting has been upgraded. Okay. So as I was saying, but what people forget to do most of the time is that when they're talking about their passion and their why, they don't talk about the gap they're trying to bridge. So what I mean by this is that you say, I'm passionate. Okay, everybody's passionate, or everybody can claim to be passionate. But you can say that in a way that it shows through an example. So for example, you can say in your sentence, I had X experience in maybe education in rural areas, which has made me passionate about, the development of girls' education in XYZ place. So you making this sentence more specific shows like, your background, what exactly you're passionate about, and what is the bridge you're trying to and what is the gap you're trying to bridge. And what I mean by gap is that, for example, many people want to study the same thing as you, and there are many people that are good at it. But how do you differentiate yourself? What is it that's so special about you that you can bring to the table that will make that sponsor, that organization, the uni, the private funding, or the government funding, believe in you, that they want to actually, take you as a candidate, that you're providing a solution that other people are not providing, because you have that local experience, that community-based grassroots experience that you think is really needed in that program, that you think that you being there will allow the program to be more enriched, or whatever it is. I think you guys are following me well. The next one would be to be very certain. And I was thinking of what word to use here. Certain means that you have to be very, not only confident, but very sure. Can you guys please mute yourself? It's very distracting to have people like talking underneath. Okay, thank you, because I could hear some noise. Okay, so yeah, you have to be very certain, which like be sure of what you want. What is it that you want exactly? Some people, because they're so focused, I want the scholarship, or for example, they want to do a degree in communication, for example. I love communication. Okay, communication is a very big and broad, field. Be specific, be certain, be sure of what exactly you want. So you can, instead of saying that, you could say, I want to work in intercultural communication between X and Y country, and serve as the bridge for maybe, for example, the Sino-African trade relations. So when you say this, you're being specific about what exactly in communication you're interested in, what exactly you want to do as in serving as a bridge between two organizations, countries, or government, and in what field do you want to work exactly in. Can you guys still hear people's noise?
Should I mute everyone? But should I mute people?
Yeah, can you mute everyone, please? It's gonna be easier that way.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Okay, great. I was saying that because it becomes very distracting, you know, to hear some background noise. Okay, good. So with this example, you're showing them, okay, what exactly you want to concentrate on in communication. This is just an example. And what do you want to do? What are you going to serve as? You know, you're saying you're so specific. Okay, I'm interested in China. I'm interested in, you know, in whatever organization that I want to serve in this field. And this, you know, takes you to actually do like a self-evaluation to understand who you are, what exactly you want as a person, and why what you want to do matters, right? And the next one, be specific, you know, also about like your future plans. They always ask about this. What exactly do you want to do in the future? You know, why are you doing this? What do you want to gain from this? And you can, you know, typical sentence people write is that, for example, I want to work in the government of my country. That's interesting enough, but you know, if you're more specific, like I want to work in education policies and advocate for girls' rights in the rural, maybe northern part of my country, because, you know, I have had this experience and this has happened to me, and I see how paramount it is for me to, you know, work in this so that things will get better. So that way you're being more specific than just saying I want to work in the government. That's saying nothing to the sponsor, because it's just very vague and very, very general. And then the next one would be, how does your CV connect to your study and the sponsor? When I mean sponsor, I mean the funding organization, right? The person giving you the funding, the scholarship. So you can do it this way. People would normally say, I have worked in XYZ. They make a list of their curriculum, you know. People are not interested in your curriculum anymore because they have your CV. What they're interested in is that they want to know that, okay, for example, I have worked in X, you know, which led me to Y. And this is now connected to why I want to study Z. And I hope to continue working in Y. So it's kind of like you're interconnecting every step of your life, everything you're doing, so that it makes sense, so that it becomes like a story, like a beautiful, you know, something that you can decorate in a way that is understandable and sellable. Not only I work, I've done this and this and this and this, and it doesn't make any sense to the person reading, but how do you connect those stories, those paths you've had, why it matters, and where you're aiming to go? Okay, so I'm done with this slide. Can you guys just say yes if you're still following and it's making sense, especially this part about how to write a winning application? Just let me see your reaction just to see if it's making sense. Just want to know your feedback. Yeah, good. And in your case, do you identify some points that you were not thinking about? If there are things that you're like, oh, wow, I didn't think about this, you can also write it in chat so I know that, okay, this is new for you. So my next slide is about typical mistakes. Again, I have made a video before about mistakes that people make most of the time when they're doing their application, but I will also explain some, but you also have the video that I make on my YouTube, NinjaInspiration, so you can watch and get more ideas. So the typical thing, and please, when you see this point, could you kindly, you know, maybe write on the chat which ones you've made, which mistakes you've made, so I can see which mistakes people have made and the ones that people identify with, if we can do that. Thank you. Okay, someone is saying, I always go to I love to. I mean, loving something is not a bad thing, but there has to be like a story behind it. You just don't love for no reason. So typical mistakes, right? People tend to use online templates. Even like sometimes you tell your friend, hey, can you give me your essay so I can just, you know, copy paste, you know, and like you change some stuff. But having online templates is good. Sometimes it gives you that confidence, just like, okay, I need to start, you know, but that's good. Someone saying writing in the last minute, very good. So you can use templates, but that's not the way to go. You know, you have to be original. And that comes when you understand yourself and when you have confidence in what you're doing and what you want to do, it will flow. But when you lack that understanding of yourself, that's when it's hard for you. You know, sometimes you want to write an essay and you just open your document and you sit there for like 2 hours and you don't even know what you're writing or what, you just don't even know what to start from. It happens. It happened to me before too, before I understood all this journey and like from my failures. Just see there like, I don't even know where to start. Like, this is so complicated. But once you actually understand yourself, your story, what you're trying to tell, what you're trying to sell, and why it matters, the story will flow and the writing will flow. So people also tend to write very dull essays. You know, nobody wants to read anything boring. People want to read things that inspire them. People want to read things that will make them feel like, okay, wow, this is really, you know, this is a story that I can buy. So you should not be sending like non-customized letters, which means that, you know, you have one essay and then you just change them every now and then. You can, I mean, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of hours, but try to make it more, you know, customized and exciting. And then sometimes people tend to oversell themselves, which is not like technically bad, but you know, when you lie, it will show if you eventually get invited to an interview. Like if you're lying about something in your CV, when you get into the interview, they will know, and you know, that's gonna be worse for you. And also the opposite of this is being too humble. Many times people have done amazing stuff and they don't even realize it themselves. And in order for you to know how amazing you are, what you can actually do is to ask your friends. You can ask your friends, family members, like, what are the qualities that you like most about me? What are the things that make, you know, that you see that I do that I don't even realize that I do well, that, you know, that I should be highlighting more in my CV or in my essay? So don't be too humble, because you have to also brag, but brag in a way that it matters and it's aligned with what you want to do, not just because you're bragging for the sake of bragging. And then many times people overuse I. I want the scholarship, I want to go, I want to do. Partially, the essay is about you, yeah, but it's about, as I always say, the sponsor, to the people giving you the scholarship. It's not only about you, it's about them. So I want this because this connects to what you also want. And if you are able to give me this scholarship, you are also achieving your goal, not only my goal. And that's how you bring them, you lure them into you, into your story, into what you want, not just using the I. And then what I don't like at all is pity stories. And I know that many judges don't also like this when they're reading your stories and they see that you're focused on your, like, you know, a lot of us have had struggles, and that's the reality. And these sort of opportunities are there to help people that need them. But when you focus too much on your pity story rather than on your strengths and how you've been able to overcome that, your resilience, it becomes very boring, honestly, or very, you know, typical. So you're able to differentiate yourself from other people and not just, you know, your pity story. Like, you know, I grew up in a very poor neighborhood, which many people might have the same situation. But if you're able to show how you particularly were able to, you know, come through, how you show your resilience and how that aligns with what you want to do, that's going to be really helpful in your essay. And then sometimes people don't balance, you know, the personal and the professional. Like they make it so personal about their life. You know, I grew up in this, I did this, and about their life, which is good. But how does that connect to what you want to do and what you're asking for, not just your personal story, right? And then this is not that bad, but some people use too many quotes and too many references, like to sound very like illuminated. But sometimes making it your words is better than just, you know, quoting nice sentences. And then, as I said before, repeating your resume or your CV, that tends to be very boring because they want to see more about, you know, what they've seen in the CV. The connection, remember the connection of your story and your life. Not proofreading is a big mistake. And basically, you know, you send something with mistakes, or you don't even let someone else read it for you. And by this, I do this all the time. You have to have multiple people proofreading your essay. That way you can be sure that, you know, many eyes have seen it. You know, more eyes see better than one eye, right? Or two eyes. And then writing in the last minute, I see that somebody wrote that. You need time. Scholarship application is very time consuming. Just for you to know, most of them come out like around, at least if you want to study abroad in Europe or in the US or in non-African countries, you would, I can send you the slides, no worries. And when you don't, when I read that, I got distracted. So when you're writing in the last moment, as I was saying, you lose the quality also, and you go too fast. It depends on your personality though. Some people, you know, they love to work under pressure. That's me. You know, I achieve more when I'm under pressure, but it's better to just have more time so that you can also give other people more time. It's more like you're respecting other people's time when they have to correct your stuff, not only about you, like, so that you don't send someone, hey, can you read my essay 2 days before the submission? That's very rude, you know. Give people time to be able to read in advance. And then one thing that kills people's, you know, chances is also choosing the wrong recommenders. I feel like your recommender should also be somebody who's cheering you up, somebody who really and genuinely, you know, cares about you and wants you to succeed. And in this, I know that there was some questions previously, like about recommenders, like what should you be doing? How should you get them? Choose someone that really cares about you, and you can see that by someone who really wants to know more about your story, is willing to hear more about you and what you want to do in the future, and they're also trying to help you out. And also, you know, try to give them a list of the things you want them to mention. Don't just expect them to write a letter out of the blue. Give them a list of what they should be writing for you, so that they're guided in what you want them to say exactly. And then not finding the right mentors could be a problem. And I wrote ApplicAid here because, as Elizabeth mentioned, beside my YouTube channel, I co-founded a social enterprise called ApplicAid, Application Aid, which is basically to help people, you know, around the world to have mentors, people that are experiencing scholarship application. so that they can, you know, be successful and have a higher chance of success in their application, right? So that's why I mentioned that. Any comments also until now? If you guys can write some stuff, it will really, you know, help me to see how you guys are going. Is it too much information? Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. The next one would be, yeah. So many times, you know, we think, okay, it looks like I need to have actually skills before I can apply to scholarship, or I need to have good grades. The good grades, you know, it's to a certain point it's true, but you don't have to be like the best students. I feel like most of the scholarships I've had, they genuinely care more about what I want to do in life and why it matters than actually what grade I had in school. Because, for example, when I was in school, as you guys know, I told you I'm a language, you know, freak or language enthusiast. I speak 10 languages. So school was so boring for me that I cared about my grades and I did well, but I could have done better. But because I was focusing so much time on learning more languages, that I actually, you know, could have done better in school, but I was doing other stuff. I was doing conferences, events, networking. I was doing other volunteering because I loved it. First of all, that was the main reason I did it, but also I wanted to contribute to the society. And that eventually built my curriculum and my, you know, my persona, which has led to me being able to tell my story in a way that really helps me to get scholarships, right? So if you're like, okay, I don't know where to start from, you can start by volunteering. It's a very useful skill, which I'm guessing most of you are already doing, obviously. So, you know, in order to also identify where you can volunteer, you can see what youth development issues or just development issues in general you see in your community, and where you can work in. If you're someone who's interested in environment, you can do that. If you're interested in education, which I think is most of you, if you're interested in social work, you know, the elderly, the poverty, like whatever, the SDGs, which I know you guys are aware of, the social development goals, just see which one you identify with the most, and then, you know, try to work in that area, because it brings you passion, it brings you, you know, happiness, as I said here. It creates a sense of purpose, but also because you learn new skills that would then be usable for you in your letter, in your motivation letter. You gain new experiences that you can use in your letter. You make network, you know, you can also use this network, you know, for your own good. Like if you need someone to proofread your essays. One of my best friends now, you know, is someone that I met in a conference I went to in Paris 2 years ago. And, you know, this guy has been amazing because he's one of the most intelligent people I know, honestly. And he, you know, he's been able to help me with my motivation letter, like by proofreading. And I would have never met him if I'd never gone to a conference or just, you know, connecting with him, right? And you don't have to go to an international conference because, you know, sometimes visa issues, I understand. But just locally, what you guys are doing, getting together, making a network, it's also very useful. And then, oh, I see that Torpe speaks Spanish. Eso es genial. Muy bien. Do you speak Spanish? Interesting. If you're speaking Spanish, that's a good one. I think I didn't even say that before. Language skills are very important. In my case, it's more paramount because that's my, very good, just a little, that's my passion. But if you can also add a language to your skill, you know, I honestly think that in Nigeria, we should be boosting learning more local languages, which is something we don't do. The government should be doing that. Not only like if you're Yoruba, you should learn Yoruba, you should be learning Igbo, Hausa, which, you know, when you come to Europe or to the US, you realize how much they value these local languages, indigenous knowledge. It's very useful. And of course, you can learn European language, like, you know, the most spoken ones, Spanish, French. French is useful for Francophone Africa. So, you know, these are the things that you can be working on. You don't have to go to a private school to learn languages. You can do it online. You can find an online friend or Facebook page that wants to exchange with you your English for their Spanish, or their French for your English. You know, there are ways you can learn without having to pay money or having to really, you know, be rich or going abroad. You can actually do it back from home. And that would also be a good point for your application. And I actually did a video also on my YouTube, NinjaInspiration, where I explained, you know, things that boost your scholarship application and your chances of getting a scholarship. So as I was saying, with the volunteer work, you know, connecting with people, contributing social good, which at the end of the day, when these people want to give someone a scholarship, you know, they want you to be brilliant for sure in terms of academically, but also they want to know that you're a good person in terms of, like, you know, you're there to contribute to society. And after you even get the scholarship, are you going to, you know, go back to your society to even do better good? Or you're just someone who's going to be so egocentric and doesn't care about, you know, the future, right? So these are the things I should start thinking about if you haven't thought about them before. And then the next slide would be just as a measure of like a recap. So I really believe that, youth support and youth resourcing is very important. That's why, I do this about scholarship, and I'm volunteering my time, for you guys and for other places, so that I can, spread the word that this is not impossible. It's a challenge, but it's not impossible. And if you're so determined and you want this, you will eventually get it, even if it takes you many years, but you'll get it. Don't lose faith. And then, what community problems and issues are faced by young people. And then you can see that these issues are very similar. People lack funding, people lack education, scholarship, and people want, all these opportunities, right? So how can you be a solution to that and bridge this gap, as I was saying at the beginning, right? And then the next one will be like, you can also share experiences with you guys together. Like, you guys are a network for yourself. You can reach out to other networks like me or other people, but even like, having these people to support you, because scholarship is not only about the technicalities in terms of like, the application process, but also it's a mental thing. It's mentally draining. It's not easy, because it's not only the scholarship essay, as it's writing your CV, the recommendation, getting your IELTS exam done, getting so many things done, paying money, and you don't know what the result is going to be, right? But if you have that support system to cope, it's going to help you, and have great strategies to go for it. And then, as I said, partnering and strengthening your youth work and things like that. And at the end of the day, what is your oyster? So once you get the opportunity, travel more, explore more. When I say travel, I know that, you might be thinking, oh, Europe or out of Africa, but, also opportunities out there in Africa for you to also explore. And, that will also leverage. Somebody said something. Okay, about ApplicAid. Okay, I'll go back to that later. Let me just finish this point. So explore more, have curiosity. That's the key. I feel like the only reason I'm where I am today, where I'm going to be doing my master's degree in one of the best universities in the world and in the US, is because of my curiosity that I started like 6 years ago. I wanted to just, I wanted to do something with my life, and I wanted to just, get opportunities. And from there, just started building, and from zero, to by God's grace, to something more. And then importantly, be able to return, to your community, to share your ideas and helping others, which I'm sure you guys are doing right now. So somebody was asking about ApplicAid. I think I said it before, but it's a social enterprise I co-founded. And basically we have an online platform, ApplicAid.org. Let me write it down. Where the idea is that, we partner, we match, we call it the education Tinder, if you understand what I'm saying. So we have young people the mentees, people who want to apply for scholarship, and we partner them with mentors, people, like me, or even people that, have similar experience or different, that have had a scholarship basically, and they will be able to, guide them in the process of applying to scholarship, and then increase their opportunities. Not that they will be doing the application for you, but more like guiding you, how to make your scholarship better, and your scholarship application better. And then, this is the moment where we would have the Q&As. I feel like I've spoken a lot, but I've really tried my best to condense my knowledge in this, almost 15 minutes. So please do, give me questions. You can speak if you prefer. You can write it in the chat before, I go to my last slide. So just let me know what specific questions you have. And just let me know, and I hope I can answer in my best capacity. Or if it's all clear, I guess there's no question then. Okay, seems that's okay. Somebody said, does mentorship attract financial cost? No, it's free. The one with ApplicAid is free. There is no cost. It's a free service. We're also doing it on a volunteer basis. So no, there isn't. Are there any specific questions, like in particular to application, or like tips or things you've done in your own experience that you've identified that I spoke about today, that you would maybe want to ask about more, or you would like to change, or you need maybe time to like digest all this information first? Okay, the person says, I've been having issues writing my personal statement. Okay, what's the issue with? What's the problem? Or do you want to talk, or you want to write it down? Okay, yeah, you can talk. I think. Oh, the host is not allowing. Okay, talk by right. Let me see if I can find you, or Elizabeth can. Let me see. Oh, Hulda, nice. Actually, Hulda is one of the people that I've been able to like sort of like mentor for just a bit. But thank you for joining. I'm trying to see if I can unmute Sokwe and then we can go to the other question. But I can't find. Elizabeth is still here.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. I can hear you.
Yeah, but did you see the chat? It looks like Sokwe is trying to say something or ask a question. Maybe that can be beneficial to everyone.
Oh.
The thing is that I'm trying to find him and like, or I don't know, it's him or her, and I can't really see.
Okay. It's not muted. He can talk. He should just unmute his mic.
Okay, so did you hear? You can unmute yourself and then you can talk. And sorry, I didn't because I couldn't see your photo, so I didn't know your gender. So yeah, he said he has tried.
Okay.
Or maybe you can just like unmute everyone and then people don't speak. So I guess it would be easier that way. I don't know. Okay, while he's doing that, I can answer the other question, which is what's the other question? Are you talking now?
Yeah.
Can you ask your question now? That's not you. Okay. So Tokwa seems you can't, I don't know what's wrong with the audio. You're still unmuted? Yes. Okay. While we're doing that, I was gonna answer the one, you're concerned if the pandemic has not just drastically reduced the opportunity. This is a question I've never thought of actually, but I'm so sure definitely not, because something I want you guys to know that is that, I don't know how to put it into the right way. I want to not be like diplomatically correct, but there is money out there. Like there's funding out there. Like the only thing with the pandemic is that they're now putting a focus on like COVID. That's what they're doing. But like, aren't you guys surprised how much money has been raised for like COVID issues around the world? You know, where many times, because I work in development and many times they say, oh, there's no funding for this, but there is money. So I don't think that the pandemic has reduced the opportunities, no. But what I do think, or maybe kind of like foresee is that especially those who want to go into health issues, like maybe health and sanitary or whatever, like, you know, that want to study health in development or related issues, maybe now because of COVID, when they write their cover letter, they will have to say something about COVID. That's what I maybe kind of like foresee, because, you know, they would want to see like, okay, you as a professional, how are you thinking about COVID? So, for example, before getting to my scholarship with US for Georgetown, I actually applied to another one for China. I was very interested in China, in Asia, and I did make it to the interview phase, but I didn't make the final cuts. You see, I told you I also fail, even though I have a lot of successes, but I also have a lot of failures. But my point here is that with the one in China, when I did the interview, they asked me something related to COVID because, you know, it's like the hot topic. So I wouldn't be surprised that the COVID thing would affect, but I don't think that the pandemic reduces the opportunities. The money is still there, and it can only affect those that have the scholarship for this year. Maybe they have to like postpone or study online, but that would be my answer. I hope that that helps, you know, to clarify your question. And then Tokwe, I don't know how to help about the microphone. I honestly cannot even see you in the list of the chat. Okay, Prince is asking about Canada. That's an interesting country to choose. I actually like Canada very much. And the documents. So I'm gonna make this useful for everyone. So this is not only for Canada. When you want to study abroad and you're coming from a developing country, She muted me. Oh wow. So did you hear the last thing? What it was the last thing you heard me say? Because I've been talking and I didn't realize that. If any of you could just write something.
So I was trying to see if it was from here that the whole thing wasn't being muted. So that's why I was checking it. I'm sorry for that.
So you guys did not hear the last thing I said. Oh wow. Okay, because did you hear
Yeah,
what I was
you were.
Yeah.
You were in the part of from a developing country. They're from a developing country, so you can continue from there.
So okay, you heard me say Canada is a nice place. Okay, so I need to start from the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I was saying was that it's actually very hot now. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. But so Canada is a nice place. No, it's okay. You know, I just hope that this is helpful for everyone. So Canada is a nice place, as I said, yes. And I was saying that, yeah, the question the person was asking is that what would they need if they want to go to Canada? Right? So this is not only for Canada, it's for any scholarship you want to apply, any program you want to apply to. They tend to ask for similar things, and sometimes they digress a bit. But it tends to be, you know, your passport. You know, if you're going to be coming from a developing country or any country in general abroad, you would need a passport. So you should have that in mind, like a month before, to start getting that ready in case. You would definitely need your IELTS, which is like an exam, a language exam you need to prepare for. I wanted to write that in the chat, but it's saying that I can't get it. Anyways, I wanted to type something. I'm not able to type anymore. I don't know why. It says that Wycliffe is not in this meeting. Okay.
No, I didn't know.
Anyways, no worries. So you need your passport, your IELTS. I wanted to just go fast because I see more questions. Your IELTS exam. You need you will be submitting your motivation letter, as always, your CV, and then your letter of recommendations. That's what they always ask in general. And yeah, it tends to be that. Sometimes they can ask you for proof of funding, but not normally if you're going to be asking for scholarship. Another question that I see is, I don't forget you, Tokwe, but hopefully you can write your question or you can ask, you know, later on. How can I get admission to Canada? I mean, that's basically what I said about the things you need to do. So if you want to go to Canada as a student, you need to apply to a university, and then either ask for a scholarship from the university or find a funding organization like the government or the ones that I mentioned earlier on in my presentation. I wanted to know if it's really necessary to read through the journals and publications of the university I'm considering. I had to scurry through lots of journals of the University of Bradford, which is the hardest task. That's a good question, but why would you have to like read all the journals? That's a lot of work. Like, are you doing a PhD in that university, like about the university? No. So I believe you don't need that. What you need is that if you were already listening to what I was saying before, is that, you know, the connecting points, what do you want to study there? You know, I mean, if you're going to be studying like maybe something specific to that uni, maybe yes, but if it's just, I don't know what you want to study. Can you tell me what you want to study? So I can tailor my answer to what you want to study. So anyways, you have to know what you want to study, and then, you know, see public health. Okay, so you want to study public health, let's say in the University of Bradford. Okay, so I mean, this is a master's level, right? Not a PhD. Just say yes if it's a master's level. Yeah, if it's a master's, okay, good. If it's a master's level, then I mean, you need to know, like, of course, the publications in the case, because you want to know what publications you're doing in this field, which professors have published X, Y, Z, and why, you know, this university is the one you want because of that X, Y, Z professor that will help you. And that will, you know, make it, you know, easier for you to study there because you look forward to working with them because of a specific reason, but not really having to, yeah, you can speak now, but not really having to read all the journals. Definitely not. Yeah, you can speak now. And if there are more questions, do let me know. Are you speaking now? Okay.
Yes, I'm speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I
Yes.
can.
Hello?
Yeah.
All right. So I have a question about, so there's this opportunity that showed up in the UK. I think it had something to do with the Brexit issue, about health and care visa being launched August 4. So I've been trying to explore that opportunity, but I don't know, it has been really hard to explore it because the travel agency I found only had slots for doctors and nurses. I study human anatomy as my BSc. So I don't know if you have anything to say about that.
I didn't get the
that could be
question
helpful.
specifically, but let me just try to recap what you said. So you want to study public health, as you said, and you found an opportunity online,
Work.
a work opportunity.
Yes, yes, a work opportunity.
Okay. To be a doctor in the UK.
No, to work as an anatomist in the UK, biomedical science.
Okay. Okay. But the problem is that because of COVID, I didn't get what is the problem exactly. So you found the opportunity and
I'm having to. I could not access that opportunity because I've been trying to go through the internet. I still haven't found any. The one I found had to do with doctors and nurses.
okay, so the question would be, how do you find opportunities for you to be able to go to the UK?
Work.
Is your interest
Exactly.
work? So this is not to study. Now you're saying something else. You want to work. It's not about.
Yes, this is another question. Yes.
Okay. You see, that's why I wanted to get your question clear. Okay, so if you're, today was very tailored to like study programs, but of course, working opportunities exist. I don't know if this will answer directly your question, but what I can say, my experience is with once you actually get to study, once you get to any of your destination, the country you have in mind, they have what they call fellowship programs, which they allow graduate students to work part-time while they're studying. So maybe at the uni they have a laboratory you're interested in, and you can apply to those, and you could get with your visa work permit to work on campus. I would say off campus, depending on the country, I'm not really an expert on that, like the what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do. But how do you find this opportunity online before you go? Like if it's through uni, you have to go to the uni first. You can't just say I want to work at the uni without being a student, right? But if you want to like do a work, that means that you're talking about another type of migration. You're not migrating anymore as a student, but you're migrating as a worker, as a skilled labor. So that's a different visa process on its own. And in that case, nobody will give you a scholarship to work. They give you, they could give you like, you could find like, yeah, internship in that case, I guess, or like traineeship or like analyst positions, but it wouldn't be necessarily related to like you studying in the university. I don't know if that clears your question.
Um. Yes, I think I understand. Thank you very much.
Okay, cool. But in terms of like where to find the opportunities, okay, that's what you wanted to also know. Like everything is online, but it's just like, since you already know that you want to go to this Bradford University or whichever one you want to go to, on the uni itself, you can see, open positions that they have, and, try to sort of like apply or something, but as I said, you would have to get admission to the school first before being able to apply.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Cool. Are there more questions or?
Yeah. Gracias. Gracias.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think concerning the Bradford University, like I earlier said, I really had issues because I watched a video on YouTube about how to write your personal statement, and then the person was saying how that you have to read the journals so that you can speak to what they do, and so that it can sound like someone they want to have in their school, something like that. So I
yeah.
just
For some reason, I don't know why these arrows are appearing on my screen, but anyways, can you guys also see that? It's really weird. Anyways, yes, I understand your
I'm not
point.
seeing any arrow.
No, there's some. Okay, there's something. My screen. Is it still sharing? Okay, I don't know. There's something. It stopped now. So yeah, I understand what you're saying, that you have to read about the school. That's like normal, right? Even when I was applying to my university in Georgetown, I read about the school, but not really about the school, more like about my how do you say that? My specific program, and important stuff about it. But of course, since you're more like in public health and like the publications, what are they doing specifically to and also public health is big, right? What are you interested in? As you said, is it biology, chemistry? I'm not really from this field, but and then you can see who is working in that field to get whatever it is you want. I don't see any other questions for now, so I would believe that's it. Can you guys?
Right.
Oh, someone is raising their hand. Oh, that was you talking. Okay. Yes, you can get the slides. I'm gonna send it to Elizabeth, no problem. And I just wanted to, if it's possible, get maybe if you guys could like write one sentence.
The question is,
oh, okay.
yeah. So the contribution is, I want to emphasize how important it is to have a relationship with someone in the institution that you plan on, getting anything into. For instance, you can apply to for a program at a particular time, like you said you did, and maybe you were not picked, but somehow, knowing someone along the line, building a relationship with anybody maybe that you sent a mail to and then sent mail back or something, or someone you met during the interview, I think goes a long way with reapplying for that kind of thing. So you can easily ask questions that are vital, like, okay, what did I do wrong? Is there a template that I can use? Is there something that I can do better? They can easily give you first-hand information, and that a lot of people that will be applying will not be privy to. So
yeah, that's a
the
good
point is
point.
just, I think, building a relationship with,
Yeah,
it's important. That's it.
that's a good point. If I could add something to that, would be, yeah, definitely you building, I mean, relationship. But at the end of the day, even if you build, if it's not the admitting manager or like, the person that actually admits, it's a bit hard for them to influence. But what they can do is definitely guide you in how to make your application stronger. Like, what these people are looking for. What I recommend, and I do myself like every day when I want to apply to stuff, is to reach out to previous scholars, previous fellows, previous people that already got that scholarship, right? And you would be surprised how much people are willing to help. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but most of the time they want to help. And you can do that through LinkedIn. So I have a really good, I forgot to write that actually, LinkedIn profile, where your profile is very nice, and showcases your work, and that when you reach out to them, they can give you tips or advices or what they did. And if they're more open, you can also ask them for proofreading, if of course they're willing to do so. But yeah, the relationship part is very interesting, as you say. Good. I guess if there are no more questions, okay, yeah, what I was gonna say is that if you guys could just write maybe one line or two or whatever you want, sentence of like what you take from this session in terms of mistakes you were making that now you hope not to make anymore, based on the new insights, and how do you see the sponsor now? Do you see the sponsor as someone who just has to give you money, like for your funding, like for the scholarship, or is it like, okay, this is someone that I have to show them that I'm selling my story to them, and they can buy my story? You can just write, anyways, your thoughts or your feelings, feedback from the session. I would really appreciate that, to see how useful this has been. Could you guys hear me, or I was still muted? Okay, I'm not muted. Okay, it's been a lot to take in actually, but it's going to have further educated on the process. Okay, so I've been further educated on the process of getting the scholarship. Cool. Yeah. It's a lot. I'm interested in the mentoring. Okay. Cool. So that would be it for me for today. And just the last slide in case you really appreciate, thank you. So you can follow me on my Instagram for sure, and then you can subscribe to my YouTube, which I have been building for years, and creating videos, so you can see more on those ones, like where I try to make content. And if you have any like specific suggestions of videos you would like me to make, I'm more than open to that, so I know that I can make content that is useful. And then you can also find me on Facebook under NinjaInspiration, which is my YouTube channel. Yeah, so that is it. And that would be it for today. so I think Elizabeth, you can take on, and yeah, I will be sending the slide to Elizabeth. But anyways, this is the name of my YouTube channel, my Facebook, everything actually, all my social media.
Oh, hello, hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I was trying to raise up my hand then, and yes, I wanted to ask a question, but I don't know if I could still ask or just talk so that we just. It's just a short question. You know, I'm really interested in scholarships here in Nigeria, but I discovered that it seems that I don't really get most of the scholarships I see are those ones that you either travel out or you go to another country. But I think that there should be more scholarships for host countries, which are always organized by international bodies. But with the way I'm seeing this online, it seems as if maybe the information is only peculiar or only forwarded to the schools involved. So that's my own concern. So I wanted to know that maybe there are such ways by which I could really discover those, because I think it's something I look forward to.
You can definitely I can definitely understand your question, and it's interesting because of course most of the things that I do are like related to like going abroad, which is like in this case part of your home country, no matter where you're from. You could be African, you could be European, you could be anything, but like the idea, because I believe in like learning from abroad, like global citizenship, right? And languages. So being able to hold that. Thank you so much. I see your message. So I understand your point. So how can we create, or can we find opportunities like back home, like in Nigeria? Also, like, since I didn't grow up in Nigeria, I'm not really like familiar with the specific opportunities like in Nigeria specifically, like the ecosystem there. I know there's a lot of like training and like sessions there, like webinars and like, conferences for young people, but I don't know if specifically like, to study there with funding. I also don't know honestly how much a tuition fee in Nigeria is, so I don't know how much funding you would need. But what I can say is that, I mean, it is up to the youth, right? This is part of the youth activism and the youth development, and like I consider myself an education activist, right? So it's like our duty to request the government to do this more, right? Like they have the funding, they have the money, where are they putting the money, right? So it would be great to also
Yes.
work on those advocacy issues that I really care about besides scholarship. And of course it might take longer, but we will not relent. And honestly, they have the money. Like nobody can ever tell me that there is no money for education,
Yes.
because I do not believe that. I don't want to use a bad word, but I do not believe in that idea that there is no money for education. Education is key. You cannot deprive anyone from education. That is the future. And if you are keeping people uneducated, your country will forever remain in bondage. So the sooner they understand it, the better for them. So, I mean, I don't have an answer as into Nigeria, but I guess it would be great that if people that don't want to go abroad and want to stay home and they want to develop themselves home should have the chance to do so, right? But because what happens also is that this is another issue away from scholarship, right? It's when people go away from Nigeria or like any African country in general, developing country in general, even in Asia, is that they don't go back home, right? Because what happens? People just prefer to to stay where they're paid more for their skills. And also, why would you want to go back home where you know that it's going to be just more difficulty for you instead of actually making your life easier? And that creates a brain drain from the country, so you're left with like really non-incompetent people back home, if I can say that. And they're going to be the ones leading the country. So it's a vicious cycle. But yeah, we have to change that eventually. So yeah.
Sure. Thanks for that.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks so much for.
No worries. It's actually very tiring to be speaking for an hour. I can't lie to you guys. And I thought I liked speaking, but yeah, it is, and it's hot. It's still summer here.
So
I'm happy you liked it. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Yes. I got so many messages. There was a bit shower here this late this afternoon, and even I will have sent some of the messages I got. The network, even some people came in and they have to just leave because the network was very, very bad. And presently there is I could really do a lot here because I have to charge my phone. Some of my people here, I have to go somewhere to recharge my phone. We have not been having electricity supply since morning. So someone just told me, like, I'm so sorry, I wanted to join but my phone is just down. So there has not been electricity supply since morning. Even now we are running on generator. So just imagine, and I know people that will just like, I want to do this, but when they don't have generator or they don't have access to such, they don't have any choice.
Yeah,
So
actually,
the network
yeah,
is being on the, and I know people that will just say, please send me the slide. I've been getting that, please send me the slide. I just need the slide.
yeah.
So I really could feel now
No
we have to
worries.
put on the generator for such.
I'm so
Seriously.
I
And
honestly these are things that I really dislike about developing countries in general. It's the opportunities are very important, but they're not equal. So it's very heartbreaking to
yes.
see this. And I don't have an answer, but I just, as I said again, accountability. Those people are in power for a reason to make our lives better, right? So internet nowadays is a right. It's not even a. It's
Mm.
not even a. What do you call it? It's not even like an option. It's a right, right? And it should not be like a luxury. It should be a basic right, access to internet. So they should maybe add that to SDGs because especially with COVID, everybody's working online. So if you don't have access to internet, the digital divide is
Yes.
getting bigger and bigger. So, but anyways, I do hope you can send them the slides as you'll be getting it today. And also, I'm so happy the video is recording because I was scared it wasn't recording. And
it was.
it is. So once we finish, I will stop the recording. However, I don't know that recording we send to you because you are the host. So just make sure you are able to download it, and then you can share it to. I'm gonna share it on my YouTube channel, obviously, and then we can share it around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I made you the host later, so.
Okay.
Yes. So.
Okay, if I'm able
So
to
you
download
could
it
be able
also,
to.
I'll be good. Yeah.
Yes, but I could, but I don't know. I'm using a phone, an Android phone, so I don't know if I'll be able to do that because there are so many things I couldn't do. I have to just start checking so that I don't just delete or mute
Yeah,
or just
when we
ask
stop,
the.
I'll try to download, and I hope that as a host, I'm able to do so. But if not, I'll let you know.
Yeah,
I really hope we can download it, and it would be a pity for other people not to be able to see the session.
sure.
And then I think Tope was asking about
Yeah.
the mentoring. So the mentoring is just applicate.org, and then you can just find it there.
Okay.
So yeah, that it is, guys. I don't know if you have me here for maybe 5 more minutes. I'm happy for more questions, but of course, you have my email, and I will try my best to answer. But also this week I'm starting uni, so things are very busy, and I'm also working. But I always try my best to help whenever I can. So yeah, cool.
So, well, in the absence of any question, I want to really say a very, very big thank you. Thanks so much for this opportunity. As in, it's something that I look forward to, and it was a great one. And to okay, someone is asking for your email. Maybe you surely send that.
There, but I can also copy it here.
Yes. Okay. So, and to everyone that were able to make it, everyone that were able to come online, and even some that has to just come in and just leave due to one reason or the other. Ones.
Yeah, Elizabeth is breaking, but
It's not just we learning. The network is really going and coming. So I just wanted to point out that this is not just for learning sake. As an opportunity, I would really encourage us all to follow her on her YouTube and all other social media platforms that she is. And I've seen some of her videos and they are great. Internship, and I am not really I'm not afraid, I'm not shy to say that. So that we'll be able to get more knowledge, and we'll be able to do a lot of getting important information conferences. I'm praying by God's grace, many of us, even as men that won't be here, so that we'll be able to go for conferences, grab opportunity. I started knowing more about opportunities just last year, August last year, I think. That's when I started getting open to so many opportunities. And I was just like, if I had known this like 5 years ago, if I had known this like 10 years ago, and by God's grace, we'll be creating more awareness for this, because many of us don't even know there are opportunities. We struggle through school, struggle to get work, and the shallow mindset that we have been created there, everything here is seen as a privilege. To get water is a privilege. Anything you have here is like you are just privileged. Even to get work, something you went through, like go through hell to get educated for. And I'm not. I want to say something, but it will shock you. Sometimes people who are unskilled are even more paid, more endowed, more better and financially or upright than people who went through school. I'm not saying there couldn't be differences, but the difference is so much that I personally have encountered two fathers that said, I don't think I want my children to get educated. What was it?
Wow.
So yes, because they will tell you, I do this business and I make money. So what's the essence? So I want to really say thank you very much, everyone. So have a great night rest. And to Miss Pelumi, thank you so much. It's a great time being here. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you,
Yes.
everyone. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
So,
I hope you download.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sure.
Bye, baby.
Bye.